This one works. Can I just say what an enormous privilege it is not only to meet you, but to have had the opportunity to come to headquarters action and talk to people who've been out on the campaign trail. Especially a privilege to meet young people who've got themselves engaged in the political process. And it's so important to see young people active, enthusiastic and passionate about helping to support people all over the country to help improve the lives of everyone in this country. It's a great privilege and honour to be here, and I come because the European Union, the 27 countries that I represent, wanted me to be here to send 2 or 3 key messages. First of all, a message of support for the changes that are taking place and a recognition of the prominent role that you, Don, and Suu Kyi have played in getting us to this point. Secondly, to make sure that it's understood we will continue to support the changes that have taken place and the people of this country through our development work, through what we can offer in support of all that's happening. And then thirdly, as I will do today, to open an office and to, of course, bring the message that we have suspended sanctions, apart from the arms embargo, to this country as a recognition of the progress that's been made. We know that changes take time. They need to be well embedded and they need to be guaranteed so that people can feel confident in their own future. And we hope that we can work alongside you to help that be a lasting achievement.
Did you actually need some questions?
Are you not worried there will be a lack of accountability for the abuses that have taken place in the past decade?
I think one of the things that all countries have to do is work out for themselves how they want to deal with the history. My objective is to look to the future and to be as supportive as we possibly can through the work that we do, in order that this country can grow and develop in the way that so many people would like to see it.
Was the ongoing issue about the standoff in Parliament discussed today, and is this a concern for the European Union with regard to having a more democratic and representative Parliament?
Well, that's not really a question for me. We've been discussing today, I've only been here a very short time, with the people who won, the candidates who were successful, the young people, about being involved in the political process. There'll be plenty of time to discuss other issues later.
Do you have what will your message be to the President when you meet him?
I'll say to the President saying that we welcome the way in which he's moving forward and the way in which he has been a strong advocate of the changes that are taking place, and to urge him to do more and to continue.
Lady Ashton, your visit comes at the same time as Ban Ki-moon of the UN. It follows the Italian Foreign Minister. It's just ahead of like South Korea, the German. All the governments are visiting now, and everybody is talking about increasing aid. Some by a massive amount. The World Bank is just announced in a Western office. Do you have concerns that this country that has basically been starved of funds for many years is just being deluged with just everything at this moment? Do they think that's being absorbed? Is there some thought to how this will be coordinated?
I think one of the key things for the circumstances that we find this country in is to make sure that there's a capacity building for the reasons that you said. I don't think it's a fear of deluge, and I think it's absolutely wonderful that people are coming here to offer that support and to recognise the changes. But it will be important to make sure that there is the administration, if you like, where the capacity exists to be able to deal with the resources. That's partly why we're opening an office here, because then we can channel our support through our teams out into particularly the rural communities and make sure that the money reaches the people, and also to help build the capacity so that it can be done by people here.
I think you could invite Britain and Norway into. Have you received the passport yet? Have you been given any assurances by the government that you're allowed to return to Myanmar after?
I have not yet got a passport, and I'll be about insurance later.
What is your comment about the current political situation in our country? Because the analysts still cannot go to into the parliament because of the problem. So what's your comment about current political situation?
You're in a process, is what I think. I think this is a process of change. And I hope that we will see all the elements come into place that will make it an irreversible process that can move forward. On that journey, there will be many things that need to be done, many things that need to be worked out, practical ways that the country can go forward, the political process needs to be addressed. All of those things have to be done. And some of them will be more difficult than others. The main thing is that the journey has begun. And we're here to help support that journey so that it can't go backwards.
What if work with Myanmar is going backward about
I hope it won't be going backwards, and the indications are that it's moving forwards. So let's be optimistic and supportive of that process. And let's recognise that it's, of course, a time which is not large.
and help support it to go forward.
Technology in any country.
Are there any more questions?
I understand the sanctions, the question of the sanction is a year-by-year thing. So some business people are saying now that this is sense that you have a pretty longer period plan. So what would be your message to the business people here who are longing for a little longer suspension?
I think we've begun the process, but we felt it was important to lift, to suspend in the way that we have, to recognise the change and to enable the support to begin, but also to recognise that, as I said before, this is a journey and it's not finished. And I think already we've had a lot of interest from the business community, and rightly so, a lot of interest and support coming in from different agencies. There's suspension down here from the World Bank, banking is here, lots of people coming through, and I know some of them are bringing interested business leaders with them. And again, this is a process. They won't make their decisions today. They will start to look at the investment potential and the opportunities. And that needs to be done properly with those who have the ability through Parliament, with the government to make sure that it's done well. And again, with the support of those of us who want to see this offer as much as possible to the people. And that process, as I say, is underway, but we recognise it's not yet finished, and therefore we'll continue to offer our support so the journey carries on and gets to the point where it could never turn back.
ကချင်ပြည်နယ်မှာလေအခုလောလောဆယ်တိုက်ပွဲတွေလည်းပြန်ဖြစ်လာပြီးတော့ဒုက္ခတွေကြီးလည်းရှိတဲ့ခါကျတော့ဒီကဘာလို့ပြီးလို့ရှိတယ်ကချင်ပြည်နယ်ချင်းတဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီး
and this is one of the issues that I know concerns all of you, is how to make sure that we have peace right across the country, that some of the long-running disputes are resolved, but not just resolved for now, but also have deep and ingrained peace and security for people in the long term. And that's a combination of different things that have to happen to make sure that people have a future. You know, at the end of conflicts, people have to go home. They have to have a life, they have to have a future. And you have to build, if you like, the institutions of that future: education, jobs, housing, all of those things. So again, we want to see ways in which, from our own experience, Europe has been, you know, a group of countries that know much about resolving problems, mediating, working in the long term. Maybe there's something that we can do to help and offer support that can ensure that long-lasting peace. Well, we're interested in a range of different projects. We have about 150 million euros that is coming in. I think one of the areas that we will focus on especially will be in the rural communities and helping agriculture, which is a huge part of your economy, and I would argue needs a lot of support. You'll find a lot of potential into the cities anyway, but I have a feeling that the rural communities will be where we would want to especially put our assistance at the present time.
I would like to know what role EU will play for climate in the future. Yeah.
Well, one of the things about the European Union is that we support for the long term, and it's something I believe very strongly that short-term initiatives are very significant, but it's the long-term development programs that can really make a difference in countries. And so this is about establishing how the European Union will work with the people and work with all of you to make sure that there is a real set of objectives of what we should try and achieve, of how you think we can best offer support. What does the country want us to do? And then laying long-term programs that will last for years. So there's a certainty about what we do. And that's really, really important, I think.
Could I say the last two questions? Because we have to carry Davy Ashton away to the next occasion.
Is there a limited time frame for the suspension?
What happens is sanctions are suspended and then it's reviewed, and it will be reviewed next year to see what's happened, and then further decisions will be taken. And, you know, we look for progress.
So I'm saying, Suu Kyi, do you expect the current problem with Parliament to be solved by the Parliament or outside of the Parliament?
We cannot see it. We will solve it the best way possible.
And what if it comes to a parliamentary vote? The USDP has said it won't support changing the oath.
Could I just say the last question? Because as I said, we must carry the away to the next occasion. One last question.
EU လာတော့ဒီရိုကင်ဂျီဖောင်ဒေးရှင်းတို့ဥပဒေဖောင်ဒေးရှင်းတို့ဥပဒေဖောင်ဒေးရှင်းတို့မှာ EU အနေနဲ့ဘယ်လောက်ထိအတိုင်းအတာတွေထောက်ပံ့ပေးတာ
So, the advisor said that Burma makes tiger is Asian tiger. Do you agree with that?
Not sure tiger is exactly the animal that I choose. I think that we want to be the next best Asian people.
Good.
So, thank you very much.